In my last video, you heard and saw me rave about Alaska's 737-900ER economy class. In this video, it's time to see how Delta's economy class on their 737-900ER stacks up to the competition. There's only one place on Earth you're gonna see this many Delta and Alaska aircraft at the same airport, and that would be none other than Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, located just south of where the Boeing company was founded, so it's only fitting I fly out of here on a Boeing aircraft. To get to SeaTac's S gates, otherwise known as the South Satellite Terminal, which also houses international flights, we have to take the Blue Line trains 2 stops past the B gates. And bingo, S4 my gate. Since I was a little early though, my plane and most of the people going with me down to Salt Lake City weren't here yet, so I decided instead to walk around the terminal a bit, which as far as international terminals goes is on the mediocre side. Check my flight's info, grab some grub, and spot some airplanes. The South Satellite Terminal offers some great views in certain areas of much of SeaTac's activity outside, including good views of the neighboring B gates, which is part of an X-shaped terminal made up of concourses A, B, C, and D. There's also an additional satellite terminal at the northern part of this airport, conveniently named the N gates. Eventually though, my aircraft to Utah began taxiing in N911DQ, a nearly 2.5-year-old Boeing 737-900ER, so yeah, relatively new. As the view of my plane at the gate wasn't so great, I thought maybe there'd be a better view in the A gates, which I was correct, but the lighting stunk. I literally took the tram back to the A gates and then walked all the way down that terminal and back there for that shot. It was just like a couple doors. That's the only view I had. Once I went all the way back to the S gates, I found my flight boarding, so I joined the line when my row was called. Thank you. I do need to mention, Delta does not board by row anymore. This was due to COVID at the time this was shot, and they returned to their normal group boarding process 5 months later. If you follow most of my vids, you'll know I strongly believe Delta to be the best legacy carrier in the US by far, and I think this cabin shows that. Between the 3 classes on board, there are 180 seats on this 737, with 20 being first class, 21 being comfort plus, and 139 being economy. I'll be in 15F today, which is the second row of main cabin. Immediately when sitting down, you can notice some comfort. Legroom, while not as abundant as Alaska, is still pretty good for economy on a domestic mainline narrow-body jet. In front is where the safety card and barf bag can be found. It's located in a little pocket within the actual larger seat back pocket. Moving up is the tray table, which I'll look at a little later on, and a personal touchscreen monitor, which has a headphone jack and USB port right underneath. All seats have adjustable headrests, and as far as comfiness, it's kinda the opposite versus Alaska Airlines. These look more comfortable than they feel, but don't get me wrong, for a flight of this length, it was perfectly fine. They also do recline just a bit. Universal power outlets are also available underneath in front for every passenger, and much like Alaska, the cabin features large overhead bins and mood lighting, which will be showcased later on when in the air. So why don't we do just that? Let's head to SeaTac's runway 16 left for takeoff.
Always paid for your safety.
Be sure that all carry-on items, anytime the seatbelt sign is on.
There's a law that requires all passengers to go. To our entire Delta family, everywhere around the world, thank you.
friend. Sun goes down, but we get back again.
Very shortly after takeoff, the crew began rolling the carts down the cabin, and with me sitting closer to the front, we got served first. Tray tables on board are extendable and adequately sized for most human beings. Something I noticed immediately about the service is, contrary to my last flights with Delta a month ago, they finally had a normal service and stopped handing out snacks in plastic bags.
Would you like some ice?
Delta has always been a pretty generous airline when it comes to snacks in economy, and nothing changed today. They also finally brought back a drink selection service versus drinks on request, so that was really nice to see. I asked for a ginger ale with ice, which was accompanied by a bag of goldfish crackers and a small chocolate chip Cliff Bar. As I show you this reversed footage of me pouring ginger ale into a plastic cup, I should mention Delta also has additional Coca-Cola products available, along with several juices, hot coffee, and hot tea in case you'd like something else. Sometimes there's a certain drink that really hits the spot though. Our route today will take us over the states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Utah, cruising by Yakima, Baker City, Oregon, Boise, Twin Falls, and Ogden, Utah, up at 37,000 feet. Flight time will be 1 hour and 27 minutes, so after that service, we are already gliding over northeastern Oregon, with a little over half the flight left. On most Delta flights, there are these in-flight entertainment screens which have interactive flight maps on them, so you can follow along where you are and how much time is left in the ride. This system happens to have a few different map options along with some general flight info. As for the rest of the entertainment, I'll go into it a little later on. With us now smoothly cruising down to Salt Lake, the cabin's mood lighting was turned on, and with the sun going down, it really enhanced the cabin feel. As Delta continues to modernize their aging fleet, it's pretty common now to have this same vibe on most domestic mainline flights. This flight, as you can tell, wasn't the fullest, so I did have an empty middle seat next to me, and I talked with a very friendly federal prosecutor in the aisle seat, who'd actually be on my next flight as well to Montana.
I try so hard to fade away, but something's forcing me to stay. It'd be easier for me if I turn away to flee, oh. But there's something holding on, the way of being long gone.
Along with their hard product and service, Delta's PTVs are among the best in the US, both in terms of responsiveness and in terms of content quantity. And if you are missing Delta's in-flight magazine and its fleet list, the IFE does provide you with one where you can see your aircraft's details. Movies on board are sorted into several different categories, including new releases, comedy, and adventure movies. Speaking of which, I tested out Back to the Future for a while, and it was very quick and responsive. The same goes for TV series offered and for live TV channels. Music is also available along with games, a whole kids section, a drink menu, and finally, their fleet list, as I just mentioned. If you're an aviation enthusiast like myself, I'm sure you'll find a few aircraft on here that don't fly anymore.
Please come back again and see us here at Delta Airlines. Flight attendants, please make initial preparations for landing.
As the flight attendant just said, we're now already on our approach into SLC, descending with the Great Salt Lake on our right and Logan, Utah on our left. In my honest opinion, if there's anything that beats a nice night flight, it's a short sunset flight like this one. I think knowing I still had one more flight, and after flying Alaska from San Diego and 2 more flights the day before, this one kind of went over my head a little, but that also isn't a bad thing as nothing negative stuck out to me. I really don't think you can go wrong when comparing Seattle's 2 largest airlines, and while I prefer Alaska, there's definitely some things Delta does have over them. Just as we started seeing Salt Lake City's night lights, the crew turned the mood lighting to warm morning colors and collected any garbage people had. I know it's another small detail, but I much appreciate when the crew doesn't suddenly blast the main lights on a night flight when tidying up, so bonus points to these flight attendants.
See this through. I could wait another night. One more night, one more night. I could fight it through till the darkness turns to light. One more night, one more night.
Alright, and I can now officially cross off another state on my list as we smack into runway 17 here in the capital city of Utah. If there's one thing I've heard from many friends and people I've spoken with about this airport is how modern, spunky, and nice it is, so I'm very much looking forward to stepping inside. Salt Lake City is one of Delta's hubs in the West, kind of acting like Denver for United, so the majority of the market share here is owned by the airline I'm currently flying. In fact, nearly 75% of it. To wrap up Delta's 737-900ER though, I've had the chance to fly this bird quite a few times now, and I've had enjoyable experiences pretty much every time, with this definitely being the best. So yes, would highly recommend a ride on this aircraft and airline if you have the choice to do so. It's relatively comfortable on these shorter flights, has a great hard and soft product, a cool cabin ambience, excellent entertainment, and Delta obviously usually has good employees working their flights.
See you later. Thank you. See you later.
Wow, the smell of a fresh airport terminal. Nothing like it. Now I do have quite a quick connection here, so can't really explore tonight, but I will be back a couple more times in the second half of 2021. Hope you all enjoyed this flight aboard Delta Airlines, the 4th in the Jazz Guys week of chaos. One more tonight, and then be prepared for some awesome sights and sounds of nature. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.